Welcome to Working with LGBTQ Youth, supporting their identity exploration and becoming an ally, part of the Pathways Transition Video Brief series. This video brief examines ways service providers can adopt inclusive language and practices and support youth in their identity exploration. Dr. Chris Gowan of Oregon Health and Science University discusses how to communicate that you are an ally with LGBTQ youth and will provide a safe space and support. Clinical social worker Andre Pruitt of OHSU considers the ways that youth who are perceived as LGBTQ encounter systematic oppression that can lead to mental health difficulties, and also confirms their strengths.
I think service providers can really help and be allies for young people of all sexual orientations and gender identities when they do very simple things. Some of those things are just watching the language they use. So in other words, not asking a female if they have a boyfriend or a male if they have a girlfriend, but just saying, is there somebody special in their life, or do they have a partner, or is there somebody that matters a lot to them? And just sort of keeping it open-ended, and by not identifying the gender, you're opening that door for accepting whomever that person may be attracted to or currently in a relationship with. Another thing that's really pretty simple to do is have safe space signs around. So signs that say things like, this office will not tolerate messages related to homophobia, racism, sexism, and just having those around, or a rainbow flag, for example, just show that a person can be an ally. It's surprising how much these simple steps really help. I've talked to a lot of young people, and they say they notice those things. Having a book or a pamphlet about same-sex relationships or about transgender identity will really go a long way, because those young people are really looking in your office for cues as to how you may judge them or how you may accept them for who you are.
I think one of the challenges is around identity, healthy identity. We're in an environment that has not been very supportive of people of color. The environment has not been very supportive of lesbian, gay, transgender, two-spirit, questioning, and intersex. And so because of that, society has created a system of oppression. And so every youth that is dealing with these issues is coming from disempowered through systematic oppression. I think one of the most key important things is allowing youth that you are working with to tell you who they are, how they identify, whether they define a heterosexual, gay, lesbian, transgender, what their ethnicity is, how they identify with the social construct of race. What's that mean to them? Because sometimes they'll throw out labels and say things to make sure that who's ever worked with them hears them, but they may not know what those meanings are. They might be saying things just so that the provider will find some support and will maybe honor the youth and not put the youth at risk. So they will do things to make sure the provider feels comfortable and safe. Instead of the provider making it comfortable and safe for the client or the service user. And how you do that is check your language. Because language is so powerful and so always changing. Go on the internet, you can look. You can Google, there's several websites out there that will give you correct language to use when you're working with this population. And to understand what it means, for instance, what cisgender means, and what it means to be her, H-I-R, or Zen, Z-E-N, and how transgender people or people are non-conforming, how their language is being used. Understanding the structure of social construct of gender itself. And then how our labels of he, she, male or female, and these social constructs of how a male should act or how a female should act is very oppressive. When you're building support and trust, the key thing is listening. And to realize that clients who are coming in the doorway are coming with strengths and not deficits. That they're strong and powerful, because as you're working through life and you're living with the so-called label of transgender, gay, lesbian, person of color, all those issues come with a lot of oppression. And be able to talk about that, or be able to step into who you really are and be holistically you, that's under oppression. And so what the provider can do is pay attention to the language, look at how they're interacting with the youth, pay the time to listen to the youth, finding out where the youth are coming from, allowing the youth to identify. It is also understanding the responsibility as providers to educate ourselves in the information of the population that we're working with, and having a strong understanding of the historical trauma the client has experienced that may impact that population. To have the understanding of that historical trauma will allow you to work with that client and understand how to build trust with that client coming in the doorway. Because the client may be struggling with their identity. They may be struggling with their sexual orientation. They may be questioning. They may not be grounded in who they are and understand that the impression of this world is impacting them. Another thing is working with clients as their mental health as a reaction to oppression. And that because of oppression, we respond a certain way. And something that comes out of anxiety, sometimes it comes out of depression, it comes out of a variety of different ways of how we move in a world that's not inclusive. If we work with a client from the point of view as they come with the knowledge, I'm going to share some things that I have, but they come with the knowledge, then we're going to always work in a way that strengthens the client and in ways that's healthy and ethical.
Discussion questions and resources on supporting young people identifying as LGBTQ can be found through the link on this slide. A live link can be found on the YouTube channel description of this video brief. We'd like to acknowledge support from the National Institute of Disability, Independent Living, and Rehabilitation Research and the Center for Mental Health Services, Substance Abuse, and Mental Health Services Administration.